This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets!
morning, everyone. If you want to come up and speak, please do so. Hey Z42, how you doing? Z42 said hi.
Hello? Yeah, what's
Z42,
up?
319. Yo, how you?
Doing good.
What's on your mind?
Well, my cousin was in the army in Israel, and he was watching that Jets game from from the outpost, and he saw one of the worst games he's ever seen in his life.
Well, thanks to your cousin for your service.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
You there? Mark, June, good morning.
Hey, man, good morning.
Good morning, brothers. What up, Mark?
How we doing, Jan?
My brother, my team won last night. My Yankees.
Well,
Oh, God.
Mark, just here, Mark. Mark, Mark just do not be
jeez, man.
interested in the baseball shit. Yo.
All
uh,
right,
And
let's.
wait
All
a
right,
second. Wait.
Someone gonna
yeah.
say
Yeah, I
fucking good
want to
morning
say
to me or
one
what,
thing.
man?
Oh, what's
Yeah,
up,
good
Buckeye?
morning,
what's
Buckeye.
up, Buck?
What's up, man?
Congratulations on that win last night,
Yeah,
brother.
to us. Cheers,
Yeah,
to us.
cheers, cheers.
Yeah, some people play trumpets when once in a while they
Yeah,
win, but we
yeah.
just act like we've
We
been here before.
we act like you've been
Oh,
there before. That's my thing. Even if you
see this
haven't,
fraud?
act like
All
you've been
right,
there before.
you know who hasn't been there before? The New York Jets. Okay, so can we
Devontae and
talk about the
Devontae
Jets, please?
Adams. How about
Yes,
that, Mark?
a team that
Mark,
was
without
on.
the,
Yeah,
can you
Pete.
do? Can you, Mark? Wait, Mark. Good morning. Can you do questions without saying please? I know you're being considerate, but just you're part of the the morning Jets commute. So just
All right, so I'll just
don't.
say, can I
I
ask a
know you don't
question?
want to be. I Yes, I know you don't want to be mean, and people think that you're some fucking. I don't even want to
I
say
mean,
the
as
names.
hell. Listen, man. I'm fine with it. Look,
Condescending.
look. If all right, all right. Let's clear this up once and for all. Okay, Pete. Look, if I don't think the point is logical, makes sense, if it's emotional or something like that, I say that. I'm not attacking the person. I'm attacking the point. So some people
Correct.
can't handle it, and that's fine. Look, I'm not right a lot. You know what I mean? Look, I picked the Jets to go 1-3 over the next four because I'm demoralized by the coach firing. I feel like they fired the wrong guy at the wrong time. Downing looked better, and now the Jets have Devontae Adams. So I'm going to be wrong, I think, about the Jets being 1-3 over the next. You see me getting worked up about it? Like, come on, let's grow up. Okay, we're just grown adults talking football. It's a good time. It's fun. Like, whatever, man.
Are we
If people
playing
can't
Russell
handle
Wilson
it,
or
whatever.
Fields? Who are we playing, Fields or Wilson?
Well, they're saying they want to start Wilson.
Yeah.
Don't
I,
matter.
I asked my
No.
buddy, I'm like, is it gamesmanship? Like, what are they thinking?
It would be a better game plan for them to start Wilson over Fields with our defense. It would definitely be better. It's a better move for him.
Well, I mean, the Jets can't stop the run, so I don't know. I would think Fields could run all
Yeah,
over us, to be
I
honest.
mean, yeah, but they're not trying to put him out there like that to run and get with possibility of getting hurt. They can still run the ball. It's just now that they got Russell Wilson calling the plays, taking the snaps.
Yeah, well, he's definitely a more of a well, he's no doubt better than
Right,
him
right,
with that for
right.
sure.
I mean, think about it. They're one of the worst. They're worse at scoring than we are.
We're just talking, Jones, by the way, if you want to jump in.
Are you good? You good? Hey,
Yeah, jump in, Jones.
what do y'all think about? Bro. How does this team keep sucking us in, man? Like we lose like that, and they suck us right back in with the Devontae Adams trade. I know you might not be sucked in too much, Mark, but it's like they make you give a slither of hope again when you're demoralized to the max.
Yep. Can I comment, Mark, on this one? That
Don't ask me.
Jones.
Face, okay?
Well, oh man, Mark. So now you're biting off of my line.
Again.
Shark biter. So it sucks me in more because now it's like, oh, Rodgers is coming back next year with Adams. So they're going to definitely run it back if Rodgers retires, this is so pointless. Like they have to get it they're all in. And it's going to get worse. They're going to get bad contracts. They're going to push dead money down the road. They better win. I mean, they have legitimately, I still think 9-8 is going to get somebody in, but they got to get to 10-7 somehow. And what does that mean? They got to go, 8-3 in the next 11?
Man, PD, I don't know.
Jones, you saying that, I just threw you a follow for that, man. It was like, your girl in high school did something really bad, and then they just, they get flowers or take you out on a cute date and win you back for it.
Wait, you threw Pete a follow? You weren't following him already?
Yeah, he's the man. I just looked at my notifications. He ain't.
You a Jets fan?
That's
crazy.
I'm gonna be like this. An old NWA song. That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in too many spaces, Joe. I'm in here infrequently, but yeah, that was a good one. And that's it, man. You just if the Jets are a fucking bite of the apple,
Bro, I don't understand how we don't get just one of these games. That's what I'm confused about. Like the season outlooks look so much different if we just get one of those games, just one.
Especially early on in the season. For the past few years, this really weird thing has been happening. It happened, with Denver. It's the Jets. Anytime that we have a chance to get up on a team or even the record, we always lose the game, so we even the record with the other team. I think after the Broncos game, our records were exactly the same. Any chance we have to even our record with another team and we need to win a game, i.e. the Bills, we always freaking lose that game. And it happens so often earlier in the season, and it's infuriating, especially with division opponents. And it's happened the past 5 years, and I pay attention. I'm like, why? We can't this one.
Viz, if Garrett, there's too many ifs, but Garrett Wilson catches that ball, the place is going to go nuts. The crowd will be, roaring.
Hey,
and it would have been, in my opinion, it would have been different. I mean, I don't know if the Jets would have won, but the momentum definitely would have been up 7, right? It was tied.
I mean, Petey, that Breece Hall run when he broke it reminded me of that Dolphins game when he gets tackled down at the 1, and all he needed to do was, even things out with the guy once you get back down the field and run right at him, and then you have a 2-way go at him, and that's something I haven't seen Breece do. And he consistently gets tackled at the 1-2 yard line, and you hope that he learns from those things, but it's year 3, year 4, you'd think that he should have learned from that already. Like, hey man, his running back coach has to tell him, once you're in the open field and you see one guy, keep your eyes down the field, look for that guy, run right at him,
Yeah, but then when you hear other fan bases say Breece Hall's a dog, a WG, not a dog negative wise, and Garrett Wilson, we just criticize every player because
We watch them.
it's
Because
the
no,
Jets.
it's because we watch them. They don't really watch them like that. If it's
Yeah.
not your team, if it's not your team, majority of fans just watch highlights. They don't.
I don't know.
Watch.
Nah, I'm not going. Not this year, June. Only because the
No,
first
I
6
said
weeks.
majority. Majority.
But the first 6 weeks have been us on TV every week. So other fan bases are literally just seeing what we're seeing.
Well,
Where does Zerline fit in the scheme of concerns for everybody right now?
The good question now, Buckeye. Now,
all right, let's do this then, because I think when teams are losing, which the Jets are still trying to find ways to win, there's lots of concerns, but I think it makes sense to rank them because there's Zerline. There's also penalties, which is my top concern. There's the run defense, which Charles brought up yesterday, which should be ranked in the concerns, right? And then O-line performance. These are some of the concerns, that the Devontae Adams signing doesn't fix. But what is your chief concern amongst those four concerns? And am I missing any?
The run defense for sure, and the offensive line. Look, the Jets were able to do stuff because they could run the ball the other day, but still,
Petey, I think
when they
Zerline
need
is number one for me right now.
I
You
know,
know what,
but
bro?
I think the run defense is number
Nah,
one for me. Zerline's up there,
I
though.
think the pass protection is number one for me because it all starts with Rodgers. If Rodgers is not healthy, Rodgers is running for his life, our season is down the drain. Whether we stop the run or not.
Brian, just jump in.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's offensive line and the kicker. I mean, I said this, Petey, when you guys were going over the lineup when it came out. The Steeler game is going to be it, and here we are. It's the Steeler game. The spread. You guys are a 1.5 point favorite. Tell me how that works. Your kicker going into one of
They
the worst
shouldn't be the favorite.
stadiums in the league to kick, Heinz Field, which is not Heinz Field now, it's Apropos or whatever it's called. Boswell kicks well there. He knows the wind. Kickers from other teams do not. And kickers that are not very good, it's going to be challenging. This game is going to come down to a field goal. The line makers have already said it's going to come down to a field goal. 1.5, you guys are favored. That's going to piss the Steeler fan base off. It's going to piss the Steelers off. And you're going to have to play a great game. How are you going to stop Watt? Their defensive line is pretty decent. They're going to dink and dunk you guys on the defense. All right, your defensive line. They're going to run Najee. They're going to run, their little particular trap plays. They're going to do some play action with Fields. Maybe put Wilson in, and it's going to come down to one possession game. Possession game.
Brian, Fields isn't playing.
Well, then you still got a running quarterback with Wilson and a better accurate
So you trust Russell
passer.
Wilson? So Russell Wilson, who hasn't played all year.
Even if he is not going to play, they're going to run the ball.
But that's what I'm saying.
So
I
you
think personally, our main issue is the run defense. I think our run defense has been horrible this whole year, and it's like even with that Bills running back, he was just running left and right through us. But this is a repeated pattern when we were playing against the 49ers, even the Tennessee Titans. We had guys getting over 60 yards rushing on us. I think personally, our defense is not that bad. It's just that because our run defense sucks, it opens up our defense horribly. So I don't know if it's an Ashton Davis issue or a safety issue, or I know C.J. Mosley came back. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to say anything bad about C.J. Mosley, but I don't. We have to fix the run defense because I think our defense is actually good, but with this run defense, players cannot really play pass coverage because sometimes they're too afraid and they have to go and cover a missed tackle, with the running back. So.
Well, that's one name I didn't hear called on the TV screen one time watching that game, C.J. Mosley. And that's bad when you're a linebacker. You should be in on some tackles. I'm sure he was in on some plays. I'm not, he gets his tackles. He's in the right position, but man.
C.J. Mosley played 7 plays.
Yeah, they were substituting him in.
He played 7 reps.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
But did he play 7 reps because of the scheme, or they're phasing him out?
I'm sure it has to do with the turf.
Right.
So, can I chime in real quick about this run defense?
Yeah, it's a conversation.
So,
yep, you're good.
A lot of people say the run defense is bad, and and kind of correlated directly to what's happening up front. If you watch or if or when or watch that game back, the Buffalo game, especially in the first half. It's not necessarily just what's happened in front. The linebackers did not have a good first half. Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood specifically weren't fitting the run very well. They weren't hitting. They weren't plugging. They weren't in their right spots. They were over over committing. Getting caught, getting hooked. That's what really causes. Because I mean, how many runs off the top of your head do you remember Ray Davis having that reached not only not got through the first level, but got through the second level, and he's got free reign 6-7 yards down the field with Tony Adams or Ashton Davis or Chuck Clark being the first person to really make contact. They made adjustments in the second half, but people correlate the run defense to what's happening necessarily up front. It's multi-layered. All right, it's multi-layered. And listen, I'll be the first to say it, and I
I
said it. I
yeah.
said it for what?
No, no, I'll say like one thing. They made adjustments, but I think it was a bad adjustment because I feel like they were blitzing Ashton Davis and the other safety a lot. And the problem was that is it was slowing down the run a bit, but now it was opening up our pass game offense because now we don't have an extra safety to, guard the wide receiver. So I think personally, in my opinion, we shouldn't need to be blitzing a safety just to stop the run. Like the safety should automatically, even if a running back passes through his regular line, he should get minimum, at most 5 yards. He shouldn't be getting 10 yards because our safeties can't tackle. I've seen close to like five,
Yeah,
six
Dom,
missed tackles from the safety.
ATH. Can I just jump, Dom, from where I sit, like in the upper and like towards a little bit, not directly in the end zone, but so I agree with you because the linebackers weren't hitting the places they were supposed to be. I'm just thinking about that now. I agree with you on
Yeah,
that. They weren't attacking the ball.
and,
They weren't attacking the player.
and
Go
the
ahead.
second part of it. Hang on, sorry. The second half, they did start to bring a little bit more pressures or started to run blitz a little bit more. It wasn't necessarily always safeties, but they did start to bring a little bit, try to switch things up. Those are the adjustments that he made that were made, and that's fine. All right. The problem with that is, and this is what I've always said about our defense. Um, we still haven't seen. We still haven't seen this defense in this scheme get to play with a lead. Now I don't know if our talent up front in the front four is what it's been in past years. So maybe that's a moot point anyway. But in second half when they started bringing more pressure and more sim pressure and different blitzes and exotic looks, that leaves guys like Quincy Williams in man coverage, which as good as Quincy Williams is, he's just not good in one-on-one coverage, especially with running backs or tight ends. And that leaves the Ashton Davises and the Isaiah Olivers of the world in man coverage. Isaiah Oliver, I thought, in limited reps played pretty good. Jalen Mills in limited reps played pretty good. Ashton Davis is a liability in coverage. That we know. He's good playing either up at the box, fit in the run, or deep center field where he can, in a cover three. There's no real in between for Ashton Davis. So fixing the run defense is more a systemic thing, and that's where I want to see Ulbricht's real touch on this defense. I think he's going to need to. I think he's going to need to run blitz more, and to do so, you're going to have to play a lot more man across on the back. With DJ Reed hurt now. I mean, I'm not necessarily. I mean, Pittsburgh's wide receivers aren't all that scary, and I'm confident in Eccles playing man coverage as well. But now, if we don't have DJ Reed or Michael Carter, that makes it, or Chuck Clark, that's three pieces of the
Yep.
five of your defensive back. So it's going to make a very, very difficult transition to go from your normal cover six zone to man across all the time. And I'll shut up.
Yeah, Dom, to that Ashton Davis point, when they were at the goal line, I'm not even kidding. The guy that I sit with, Joe, in front of me, I said, watch Ashton Davis. He was on his coverage, he was giving him the inside and he was playing off. And Matt Collins didn't even make a move. and Josh Allen just threw it to him. It was a joke.
Yeah, well, I think
It was a joke.
listen, he's not ideal in coverage, but in that specific play, the Matt Collins play, I think he thought he had help over the middle. I don't know, because I know what you're saying. He definitely shaded outside, and his
Yeah.
first step is retreating his right foot with his left shoulder forwards. That's giving him more inside. So he had to have thought he had help in the middle. That could have just been a misread or miscommunication.
Yeah. Well, Davis needs to fix that, especially that he's.
But I don't know
Sorry, I had a call.
I don't know if Ashton Davis is automatically, the per se starter with Chuck Clark out. They might play Oliver more and move Adams more in the box, which I think is a good fit for Adams.
What's the
So
status
do
on
I.
Michael Carter?
It's his back, so it's probably week to week.
He's not going to be healthy all season. Like one way or another, whether it's the high ankle or the back. And my guess is, he might try to go this week. But if Reed is out, I very well may choose to sit Michael Carter and not risk injuring him longer, and then suck it up. And you're going to go with Jalen Mills and Quantez Stiggers and Brandon Eccles. It is what it is.
High ankle? I thought it was a hamstring that turned into a back.
Yes.
No. I mean, he hurt the ankle in camp. That's what he was battling early on.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he was out for the camp with the ankle, and then he had the hammy, and then it turned into the back. So
I know that's all I feel, man. I feel like that's our biggest weakness because it's making our defense not look as good as what they really are. Because I think our pass coverage is actually very good, but the problem is that since we can't stop the run defense, now it's like a catch-22. Now we have to have an extra guy try to defend the run where we actually had people, guarding the pass coverage correctly. So I don't know. Like I said, I agree. I don't know. Maybe it's not a safety issue. Maybe it's a linebacker issue, or maybe it's the line that's not enough pressure. Because I feel last year we never had this issue where running backs were getting, 60, 80 yards easily on us. And that first thing, if a team can run on you, it opens up everything else. They can pass easier on us. So we have to shut down that run. We have to.
I thought the Jets, listen, Buffalo, again, doesn't scare me with their wide receivers. The Jets did a good job with them, but when they needed to stop Allen, he scrambled. He threw a dime. Who was it, to Ray Davis down the field? Was that Ray Davis that caught that pass?
But Pete.
Yeah, but that wasn't that was no dime, Pete. That was Josh Allen at his finest. That was scramble mode. And watch the play again. You watch Quincy Williams just stop.
Okay,
Ray Davis kind of slows down, and Quincy Williams stops, and Ray Davis takes off, and is wide open.
All right, Dom, my point is, even if it wasn't a dime, there's only a couple of quarterbacks that could do that, and Josh Allen's one of them. It was an amazing throw. I love the throw. I'll give Josh Allen is fucking incredible. I don't know how people diss him, man. I really don't.
Hey, PD, it's not even about those plays. It was just the fact that our guys, I don't understand how we don't get gashed worse than the pass on our pass rush isn't there. Like, it's a direct correlation of not finishing the plays. Even when we get pressure, they're right there, but they're not finishing the plays, and that's just a talent issue right there, man.
Yo, Jones, do a step back 3 for me, all right? If you don't know, you don't know.
You know what an issue is, though? We're definitively a coverage sack team, and now as we keep losing our corners and safeties, and we already don't get home, the chance of us getting home without our corners and safeties healthy that's going to get bad because we are a coverage sack team.
No, you're right, Buckeye, and that's why I said I said it once he took over. I said the biggest thing I want to see from Ulbrich, I want to see if he is able to adjust or tweak some of the philosophies of the defense because you don't have the same personnel that are netting the same results. So you might have to be a little bit more creative in some sim and some creative pressures and bring an extra guy here or there.
All right, I have some questions. Oh, good, Dom.
No, I'm good.
All right, here's some questions because Is Ulbrich maintaining the call for this week, or is he going to be only the head coach?
No, he's the defensive coordinator as well.
Okay, so that's where one of my problems in the past game, and I understand, okay, you've got to run blitz to stop the run because maybe you don't have personnel that you want. You need, scheme. Because look, Michael Carter, the thing with Michael Carter II is we talk about him in coverage, but there are times where he's got to do run fits and play like a linebacker, and he's excellent at it. So it's like I was all right with Carter being out because then you have to insert Eccles, which Eccles at least has played nickel, but now with Reed and the groin, like now, I don't know, man, it gets very dicey in the secondary. And so now the offense is going to have to step up because now if you can't rely on a top 3 defense and they start playing at like whatever, a top 10 level with these changes, then like now the offense has to step up. But here's my concern with Ulbrich. Why was it? Everyone knew that Buffalo was going to try to establish the run. They've been doing it all year. Why did it take a half of football for them to realize what we were talking about all week long? And what everyone that's not any football fan was like, Buffalo runs the ball. Why not establish that from the jump and demand that they throw the football?
Well,
so
Mark,
I don't get it.
Can I answer to that or give you my opinion on that, Mark?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not Mark, but go, all right, Mark.
We're just talking. Go ahead.
Dom, I'm trying to bring humorism. Sorry.
I think part of it was execution, right? Now you can go into it with a game plan, and if your guys aren't executing, what's being asked of them, it's going to look like that, and that's why the adjustments are being made. I don't think that he planned. I mean, I'm sure he planned to fit the run. I'm sure he planned to stop the run, but if their scheme is better than yours and their players are winning the reps, that's where the adjustments are going to have to be made. Now, can you argue that it shouldn't have taken as long to make the change? In the second half, they shut it down. They had 29 yards rushing in the second half.
Yep. Dom, can I make a point off of that real quick? Because even in the Viking game, look, I know there was a pick 6, but it was 17-0, and the Jets gave up 2 field goals.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Nope,
I don't think
I guess
ATH
not.
can hear you. Dom.
ATH, I can hear you. Can you hear Pete?
No, I can't hear Pete. I guess I'll drop down and come back.
Yeah, we'll bring you back up.
Real quick, Dom. So, yes, they adjust, but I just think it's always the first half that gives us problems. We're always down, and we're not built to come back, in my opinion. We're not. It sucks, man. The whole Viking game, we had
Minnesota, listen, Minnesota, yeah, you were down, but a lot of that was necessarily because, the offense couldn't score. The offense couldn't do anything in the first half, right?
Yeah.
Before we define that we're not built to come back through 6 weeks,
right
okay, because that's
go ahead.
because if that's not who we become with Aaron Rodgers and now Devontae being added, then then we're in trouble, because that is exactly what an Aaron Rodgers last possession, watch this, is what we brought in. That's exactly what we thought we were going to get. So my hope is through 6 weeks, this is not the totality of this thing, because that's exactly who Aaron Rodgers is. Give me the last possession with a chance to win. We're gonna get a dub here, and and he even criticized himself. That's what I am. So he's like 3 weeks in a row I haven't done it, but yeah, I'm hoping with Devontae this changes a little bit. I'm hoping with the Devontae Adams addition, it changes a little, man.
Well, Buckeye, real quick, and then CB, you could CB. I did it again. C-Web, jump in. The fact now that the Jets have 2 receivers that Aaron Rodgers knows where to go with the ball, they don't even have to look, is an improvement in itself. Look at the throw to Lazard, where it was on the floor almost, and he just threw it, and Lazard knew once he turns around, the ball's going to be there. I think this is going to help Garrett Wilson tremendously, but we'll see. We'll see. C-Web, good morning. Hello. Yo. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I hear you, Petey. The touchdown that Garrett did catch was terrific, by the way. It was fucking amazing.
Tap that the official didn't catch the first time around.
I couldn't believe. They. And another thing, guys, listen, I will personally address to the Jets. Like, if they, you know, I'm friends with the guy, but if they phase out Fireman Ed, man, that place is dead without that dude. And if they're going to phase him out because they don't like what he says, because whatever, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's the actual? Because this
But
doesn't make
Petey,
sense.
not to go too far into that. Does he even need to be on the big board to get the stadium going? If he just, I don't know what his intentions are.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people aren't going to look like, because I know where he is, so I look and see. But a lot of people still, bro, people aren't paying attention like they used to at games. It's crazy. Everybody's, I mean, Monday night is different, but during regular games, everybody's looking at their phones. It's crazy. But if the
All right.
go ahead, Mark.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Pete. This is it. It ends up being kind of dumb on the Jets' part because normally, and you could speak to this more than I could.
Mark's talking. I'm going to drop down. I can't hear.
A fan base that they're trying to energize. You want to have any kind of home field advantage you can have. The Jets chant could be loud. It gets the players going. Like the players themselves in conferences have said how awesome it is when they hear the Jets chant and they get fired up because they hear it from the tunnel. Why, as an organization, would you muzzle the chant? Like, I mean, and I know people are like, oh, but I see it on the broadcast. It's like, it's not the broadcast that gets the crowd doing it. They put it on the big board and then everyone could see it and the chant's in sync and loud. Like, you learn how to have. I understand, Jets, that you've never dealt with. Oh man, we have so many fans excited. We're gonna have a home field advantage. Like, learn how to do this. There's plenty of teams around the league that help their fans with home field advantage with shit like this. Like, how could you not assist that? Like, and try to coordinate
Mark,
the chant? I don't get it.
Or question for you and PD. I guess being at MetLife as well as a Giants fan, I think it's just the common New York casual fan where unless the team comes out and just starts pounding on the other team, it's really hard to get people to get excited and get hype. Like, you come out in the first quarter and the team gives out a touchdown, people like all of a sudden think they're losing the game regardless.
Yep.
And that's my issue when going into MetLife, whether it's a Giants or being at Giants Jets. Like, it's just.
Well, C Webb, your announcer does it too. Like, I hear it. It is third.
Bob Papa.
Yeah, well, he does that.
Right.
And the Jets guy does it too. But Fireman Ed is a staple with the Jets. Like, I don't this would really bother me. And I've seen people say get rid of the chant. Like, what?
Huh?
Really? Like, you can't get rid of the Jet chant.
Pete, these points too, and the C Webb's point, and actually the Buckeyes' point from earlier, like, because it has to do with the defense and letting up early scores, and then the fans get out of it.
It's a great point. Yeah.
This isn't just a this year thing. Like, the Ulbrich defense, like the way this operates, and this was solid too, whatever you want to call it, is that in the first half you can have your way with the defense. Like, they'll give up crazy yards. They'll try to hold you to a field goal. They really don't play field position, but you can have your way with them in the first half. Then they do second half adjustments, and then the Jet defense remembers that they're playing a football game, and then they tighten up in the second half. Like, this is years going.
I think the Jets chant is the greatest chant in sports history.
Who are we blaming that we can't win a coin toss? We're always receiving the ball first.
What about defense? I'm just kidding.
What?
Joe Namath.
Well, here's the thing with again getting the ball first, and the other thing is our defense is showing that they need to make adjustments, and we come out a different defense in the second half. Our defense is starting atrocious too, man. So I don't even know if deferring if we win a not that the whole point. I was joking about that. But I'm not sure we're not down 3 or 7-0 on the first drive anyway, because the adjustments that we're showing that we always need to make and we're unprepared to start games is a huge problem, man. And I had a funny feeling, and we let up 3 points in the second half with Buffalo, Minnesota. I don't know what we let up there. What was it? 3 points too in the second half? Like
6.
6 points, so not 9 points total.
Yeah,
in the
they
second
gave
half
up
of those
3
games.
against New England.
Yeah.
What's the other game that the San Francisco game? Throw it out. Tennessee, what'd they give up? 7 points in the second half?
Yeah,
Like
this
the
is
Jets make
atrocious
it
that we can't
right.
start right.
Buckeye, they make adjustments, but like even this, real quick, and sorry, I'm away. C-Web, you can just jump back in. The Jets make adjustments in the second half, but they score a field goal in the first quarter the other day, and then Buffalo goes right down the field. No problem. That I had an issue with. Go ahead, C-Web.
Yeah, I think Dom was making some great points about philosophy, and then when players go out and can't execute or whatever, the scheme is better. Like Buffalo did a great job of running the football. The Jets, from a foundational standpoint, offensively, are supposed to be able to run the football. How much of that do you think has really kind of turned the offensive coordinator and the minds of this offense upside down? Like this offense was supposed to be a run first, lean on Brees Hall and this offensive line, and they haven't been able to do that at all. At all.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're
No,
saying
it
Aaron
makes
Rodgers
it makes it tough.
go back to 25-year-old Aaron Rodgers and put on a cape and save us. And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers can't do that, but it puts a lot of stress on a quarterback when you can't run the football, and that's what your
Yeah,
philosophy
but
is first.
C-Web, they ran the ball on
It's
Monday night. They did run the ball, to be fair.
real
Go
quick. I think there's a lot of similarities between the Giants and Jets right now, internally and just from a team standpoint. Especially with us not being able to run the football like we expected to. But I think if you have a little bit more success with leaning in on the run game and coming out and punching people in the mouth, I really think this offense would be in a much better position.
No, you're right. You're right, C-Web. Somebody, Mark, I think it was you said something about Ulbrich, and this team, ever since the beginning of the Saleh era, yeah, they haven't made in-game adjustments before the second half, on offense or defense. But the one thing that I was really happy to see, and Ulbrich definitely had his thumbprints on this offense coming out, because you saw the first time that we stopped Buffalo, I think we scored a touchdown, then we stopped Buffalo, and the next play out of the gate was the deep shot to Garrett Wilson. And you remember the game after mono when Darnold came back,
ahead.
and
Robbie Anderson.
we scored a touchdown, got an interception or whatever it was, and then we throw the ball down the field to really stack on top of momentum, and that's something we haven't seen out of this offense. And I think if we keep playing aggressively on offense, take our shots when the game dictates and say, hey, we have momentum here, let's build on top of it, we're going to win more games than not with that philosophy. There's still tons of other things for us to fix to win these games, but I liked seeing that.
How much do you think of it of the Jets issue being a problem with youthful players or younger players not being able to step up and make plays when the game dictates it?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there were so many moments that you can go out in this Monday Night Football game and say, hey, if we make this play, we win. If we make this play, we win. And we can't make the one or two plays that it takes to win this game. And whenever we do make it, there's a boneheaded mistake on the back end. And for the young players question, this is something that we haven't seen in 3-4 years, where you can't find ways to maximize. If this guy does one thing well, let's maximize what he does really well and put him in a position to do that thing very well.
Like, who can come and help the quarterback out and make a play?
Exactly, like a Malachi Corley thing, like, or if it's just one guy for Rodgers, like, then they talked about it on the screen with Josh Allen. You want a guy flashing in front of your face coming back to you. Well, where's our guy doing that with Rodgers? Rodgers just finds Lazard and fits it in off a guy's hip. It's ridiculous. It's like, there's no one helping him out. He's got to help himself. And
that's my comparison when I say the Giants are a similar way. There's nobody outside of Malik Neighbors that can really help the quarterback out. Like the defense is playing out of this world, but when the game dictates it and somebody to play above the X's and O's, the Giants really don't have anybody outside of Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, for the Jets going on, like I know the Giants, their roster isn't as it's not as good as a roster as they've had in past
Right.
years. But for us as the Jets, it's like, man, you have so much talent. Like objectively across the league, any other fan base can say that this roster has a good bit of talent on it, even if it is some older talent. These guys, they know how to make these plays. They have the talent to make these plays. So you need to do it. Everybody needs to buy in and get on the same page before the season's lost.
Fizz.
And I think that's the frustrating thing.
You guys had such great success with drafting and building a great roster. How concerned are you guys with them really kind of aging it out and going all in with Devontae Adams and kind of selling their souls versus
I don't think they sold their soul,
continue
though.
to lean on the foundation?
I don't think they sold their soul, though. They gave up a conditional third-round pick. And
So you're buying into Aaron Rodgers for another year, right? Is that fair?
Well, that was always the plan anyway.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at this team, right? Take for example, third and 2 or second and 2, whether it's on defense or offense, you see a significant push favoring the other team. When there's a 3rd and 2 when we're running the ball, you just see your whole line getting moved back. You see the other team just blasting through the A gap and blasting our backs, or coming, or a corner blitz just coming off the edge and just fucking hitting our guys, not even getting to the line of scrimmage. And then on the flip side, you saw it in the Buffalo game. They fucking manhandled our D line, right? Our only listen, Rodgers is overwhelmingly the best player on this team. And it's not even close. Not even just from a skill standpoint, from a mental standpoint. This team has got issues coming through in the clutch. They just don't have it. They don't have it. Hopefully they develop it, but they play like a bunch of losers, and they need people to come in and show the way. That's exactly what they need. Otherwise, this team's toast.
Can I ask a question? We drafted Olu really high, man, and I'm not even against it. I was a Bowers advocate, but whatever's done is done. We're watching before our eyes. Tehran is awful, like awful, and there's a very big sample size this season of it now. Why wouldn't we even consider as an organization taking a guy that we selected as high as we did and starting him right now at left tackle? Like, why would we need to sit there and watch someone who looks like a shell of himself? He is getting beat like a drum. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse and worse. So, like, my only fear, and again, I'm still thrilled that Rodgers is here, because regardless of the record and the performance, it's still the best quarterback play as Jets fans that we've freaking seen in a fucking long time, man. It is like, so I'm not.
He's got 9 touchdown passes already.
Yes. And again, it's not the Rodgers that we hoped, because that Rodgers wins at the end of games. And I said, my hope is that he becomes that as the season moves on. He has to. Like, that's the important part that he hasn't done yet. But I do know that he's getting his brains beat in, because a left tackle is not only getting beat, like, he's getting beat by players in the secondary. Like, he's just fucking terrible right now.
Buckeye, he can't run block. He can't pass block. He stinks.
So why isn't Olu an answer now? Like, and again, I'm not saying Olu can just fit in and look amazing. A left tackle position is a really hard position. But why is this?
He's better than what's out
why
there.
is this a wait year for a guy? Like, we got to throw that kid in there now and let Smith. I don't care about politics. That's my fear of the Rodgers thing, is that the vet politics in the locker room. And that's the stuff that scares me a little bit. Like, no, there's, like, you could see in game film that there's something fucking wrong with Smith. Either he's hurt or he's not the same guy, one or the other. I don't know which one. I don't care. But we can't just watch that.
It's a big reason why, Buckeye, you're not getting all of the Rodgers that you really want to see, right? Like when dude, Vanessa fucking just shat on him, dude. Like I hope fucking Tyron Smith's family wasn't in the stands because he got cucked fucking Monday night. It was bad. And then on top of that, I mean, you have he how do you get a holding penalty on a 2-yard touchdown run?
Well, who beat him on the play where Brees got tackled? Who beat him on that block?
Russo.
No, it was like Bernard or something.
Was it Daquan? It wasn't Jones, was it?
No, it was a corner or safety.
Oh, who was it? Not
beat
Jones.
Smith horribly, man.
Yeah, and he fucking laid a fucking.
And Brees would have been home, bro. I think Brees would have taken that to the house. And Smith just missed the block horrifically, man.
Yeah.
I know what this guy's been in his NFL career. We're not getting that, man. And it's not even like there's not even glimpses of it. He looks like Becton right now. This is Mekhi Becton with a better name. We got Olu. I don't know why this is a year we're just going to sit here and not play Olu. That's what we drafted. And if we're not going to play Olu, then for the life of me, I don't understand why we didn't take Bowers. Olu should not just be an injury filling guy. He should be one of the best lineman starters on our team. That's what we drafted.
I agree. But we all signed up for Tyron Smith. We were hoping Fashanu didn't play. Morgan Moses did. Do we think Morgan Moses did better this week?
He was bad too, Petey.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Do we think Morgan Moses did good?
He wasn't great. He was. I will say, because the running game got so much better, I'm going to give some credit of that change. That it's the first week Morgan's back, and the run game looked like the running game again. So he looked bad in small sizes, but again, there was something there that the running game got unleashed, and I'm hoping that's a thing again. But Smith, and if you look at the sacks allowed and the pressures allowed, I think he's like amongst the worst tackles in the league.
He's at a worse rate than Becton was last year.
That's ridiculous,
Buckeye,
man.
I saw a sense of urgency from Brees. Like I saw him there were some plays that would have been negative that he turned into a 2-yard gain that he wasn't doing last week and the week before.
Yeah. And Peter, you said we signed up for Smith. I get what you're saying on that. But at the same time, it's a 1-year damn contract. We signed up for Dalvin Cook. We didn't play him.
True.
Right. Well, Buckeye in Dallas, they had Tyron Smith playing guard. Do you think you can move him inside and just say you're done, you're cooked? Or is he on the bench?
I don't know the answer to that.
Then that means bench John Simpson. Something's going to change. Something's got to change.
Simpson's been one of the better linemen on the team this year. And that doesn't say much because he hasn't played, he's not going to the Pro Bowl this year or anything like that.
Well, right. That's why I'm like, I don't know. It's been a disaster so far.
AVT's not the same guy.
Nope. That holding call, too, was a big call. By the way, shout out to some of the listeners. J. Mick, what up? Bird, Jarek, my man Rez, what up? M. Paz, Nikki, Hector. I see Mike F., who's down. Spurs fan, what up? Ladro.
The other guy that I'm expecting with the Devontae addition to even be a better version of himself is Conklin. I think Conklin he was not healthy for this game.
I agree, Buckeye. They didn't use him enough, neither.
He wasn't healthy. But that is a weapon that has to be a big piece of this. I've defended Ruckert. Ruckert had another drop that he's got to catch that fucking ball.
Okay. Tyron Smith, 5 penalties this year, 5 sacks allowed. Bro, he's on pace to allow like 16 sacks.
No, it's horrible, man. It's horrible to the again. I think that's kudos to what his career has been, and maybe he's hurt, but we can't just flush an all-in year down because of the name on the back of the jersey. It's just not the way it is, man.
Well, the bigger name on the back of the jersey is the guy that he's fucking getting killed.
Correct.
So,
Jump in, man.
How many wins do you guys think you need to have to
10.
get to get
10.
a playoff berth in the AFC?
C-Web, Buck, I agree with that. I'm not saying the Jets are going to get it. I really believe 9 wins is going to get somebody in.
But Petey,
really
we've lost
do.
to Denver and we've lost to Buffalo. We better beat Pittsburgh, because if you stack AFC losses, even if that 9 happens, it ain't going to be you.
Petey, they got to go 9-2 the rest of the way. I'm sorry. They have
What is the rest? It's Pittsburgh, and is it New England or Texans next?
No, Pittsburgh, New England, Houston.
Yeah. I honestly think this is where the Jets have to rattle off 3 in a row.
Okay, they don't have the horses, man.
Well, they have the horses. They have the horses. They don't have the coaching. Like that's I don't know who I mentioned this yesterday. When I look at what Mike Tomlin is winning with Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, it's our coaching, man. This is
but it's also execution and consistency over the
There's
weeks.
a lot of bad execution.
Do you really trust the team to be able to do that?
And listen,
and people want to gloat about the Mahomes or Brady's. The great part about those teams is they were consistent and they executed at the highest level.
They also had great offensive lines.
Which correct. Which makes it so hard to beat teams like that.
Hey, I resisted the Quinnen Williams slander. He needs to step his fucking game up, because I did watch the Giants game, and Dexter Lawrence is a fucking way better than him. Way better than him. It's not close right now.
Dexter Lawrence is a top 5 player in the NFL.
Buckeye, I'll get back to that.
If you really want
the
that argument.
The Bills slapped his fat ass around.
All right.
It was fucking ugly.
Let's move on from that ground, but he was awful. No. Ground, I watched his feet. He was barely picking his feet off the ground. It's like, he's not even getting a rush, anything. It was bad. You got your hand up, man. What's up?
Hey, good morning, guys. Franchise here. Thanks for bringing me up. Long-time listener, first-time speaker. Listen to the conversation. Great conversation. I had a question for the Jets fans. I'm a 49ers fan. I'm pretty familiar with Aaron Rodgers. We played Aaron Rodgers a ton over the years. With this configuration of receivers, oddly enough, Tay, Lazard, being the 1 and the 2. So for me, kind of the book on Rodgers when we played them with those configurations is put pressure on him, he's going to force the ball to Devontae. Put pressure on him, he's going to force the ball to Devontae. I'm hearing you guys talk a lot about kind of Conklin being able to eat a little bit and Garrett being able to eat a little bit because we understand that Tay is going to garner some attention. My question to you guys is, are you concerned that now that Tay is here, that Aaron may lean on him too much instead of spreading the ball around? Because we definitely saw that in Green Bay, right? They're definitely I remember the playoff game that we played them in the snow. It was a low-scoring game, and kind of the flagship play of that game for Aaron Rodgers is he has Lazard wide open and he's forcing the ball to Devontae in double coverage. So my question is, are you guys concerned that Devontae, may just be getting targeted to get targeted? Or are you guys confident that Aaron will be able to spread the ball around?
I think with Garrett Wilson still the wide receiver too, it's not likely. But yeah, there's no question it's a possibility. But I can't imagine with Garrett moving to the slot that this is Garrett's going to eat, man. He's going to eat.
Who has more targets, Lazard or Wilson? I know Wilson got a lot.
Wilson has the most in the NFL, I think.
Lazard's. I feel like Lazard's up there too, though. Right? I feel like Lazard had more than him before the Minnesota game. I wanted to say. I'd have to look, but I want to say Lazard's up there too.
You can tell we have a problem when we have 2 of the top most targeted receivers. Aaron's not supposed to throw the ball 40 and 50 fucking times. So there's the problem right there, man.
Right. I thought they ran the ball pretty well the last game, more than I thought they would. Yeah. So I mean, they're coming around a little bit. Maybe that was a game plan thing. Hopefully they run the ball a little bit more. I thought it was pretty effective. I thought the play action was effective. We'll see.
Hey, you're a 49ers fan. Do you want Zerline for a 7th round pick?
No, we're good. We're good. It's Matt Wright season over here. We're good.
Hey, franchise, I appreciate the shout out. Thanks for You're always welcome here, right? I mean that. Thank you. That was very kind words. It's what
Thanks,
we
man. I
try
appreciate
to
it.
do. Well, we try to have conversation, and everybody could talk. I host the space, but I do not like, talking, a lot. I don't. I'd rather you guys talk because it's better when more people talk. We get
Petey,
ideas
before
off of each other.
franchise goes away, and before we, and I'm just, can you break down Kinlaw a little bit? You have much more familiarity with Kinlaw than I think we do. Can you break him down a little bit?
I'm not a big Kinlaw guy. He's definitely playing better for you guys than he did for us. I think when you talk about Kinlaw, in terms of his measurables and his peak talent, I mean, there's a reason why he went in the first round, right? He's a big, strong guy, long arms. I think, and I don't know if any other Niner fans are here want to speak on this, but for me, my biggest issue with Kinlaw was he got moved around too easily in the run game, and there was just a lack of effort at times from him. He's playing a lot better for you guys, but for us, I think he got moved around. He got moved around very easily for a guy that size, and just there's a lot of times with Kinlaw where the effort wasn't there, and then you add on the injuries, it kind of just didn't work. Now at his best, he can really get in there and get home, but he just wasn't doing it consistently enough for us.
Thank you.
Santucci, jump in. What up? Good morning.
I wanted Jerry Jeudy, but I would have been wrong either way. So,
what's up, people? What's up? Hey, Petey. Yankees 2-0, man. Yankees 2-0.
Hey, good for you. Congratulations.
Say it
Wait,
loud.
first of all, listen, let me just say one thing, okay? I just asked the question. It seemed like it wasn't, I don't know. Yankee fans are used to being in the playoffs. I just kind
exactly.
of like,
I know.
all right.
I know
Yeah,
you weren't really like. I knew you was
yeah.
playing around. But.
Hey, too, don't fall for that shit.
By
He
the way,
meant it like that.
no.
Hey, I
Dude,
know.
hold on.
I know.
Santucci, that response was classic by you, by the way. I laughed my ass off.
Everybody knows I'm a troll, man. I'm a big troll.
You don't troll me. You're good, bro. Oh, gosh. Don't start with this because I'll bring out the trumpets.
Hey, but man, I'm in a good mood today. We got Devontae Adams. I feel like the season about to turn around. The Steelers already making dumb decisions, starting Russell Wilson. That should be an easy W. I mean, it can't get any better for us. Everybody's saying fire Joe Douglas. I'm saying keep Joe Douglas, sign him to a long-term deal, get Hassan Reddick the hell up out of here. I'm sad we might lose Mike Williams. I'm sad because I know as soon as he go to another team, he's gonna ball out. I'm telling y'all. I'm keeping receipts on that. But I'm happy to see that the Jets, man, our coaches had so much aura on that sideline. And I'm just saying, like, man, I'm happy. I'm excited. Let's go. I know we're gonna whoop the Steelers' ass, so I ain't worried about them. But I'm just ready for the Patriots whoop their ass, and I feel like we still could get 10 wins right now. I feel it. I feel like we could get 10 wins right now.
Gucci's my guy, man. I'm putting notifications on.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go.
Santucci, not to be negative Nancy, because I'm not at all, but I don't understand how you're happy. I don't get it. What is there to, I can understand if you said you're on the fence, but what is there to be happy about? There's nothing to be happy about. The coaching staff is bad. There's no aura on this sideline.
It's only been 5 days,
bro,
and the offense looked better than it did a couple weeks ago. It wasn't perfect. What do you expect from a short turnaround? The offense looked decent. Give these coaches time to implement their system. Get these people time to give them time. It's Ulbrich first time. He only had 5 days to get this team ready for that game. It's the Bills.
I'm not criticizing Ulbrich. I'm not criticizing him. I'm criticizing the guys that's been on the field the past 5 games. The guys that we have a left tackle who's been in the league for 14 years, still holding on the 1 yard line. That's who I'm criticizing. Missing a key block for Breece Hall. Like, you can criticize Breece Hall, bro, but I don't see
I respect that.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see teams literally running at Sauce Gardner's side because they know he can't tackle. Yes, he can cover, but they're not running. They're running at his side because they know he's not trying to get in the trenches and tackle. Like, it's the. But shout out to Will McDonald though. But also, how do you want to trade Mike? Want to keep Mike Williams but want Reddick out of here? We clearly need him on this field. Like, it's bad how bad we need him.
Look, look,
I hear.
I ain't trying to override the space, Peter. But can I say something real quick? The reason why I want Hassan Reddick out of here is
Wait,
because I
Santucci,
believe.
can I say something
Go ahead.
before you go?
Go ahead.
Oh my goodness, man. Hey
I gotta let
Buckeye.
this play. Hold on.
Hey Buckeye. Hey Buck. Thank you, brother.
All right, I put a shutdown to that. No enter Sandman.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
All right, Santucci, you started this. Go ahead, keep going.
Man, I'm excited today, man. My Yankees winning for once in a lifetime again.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. The reason why I want Hassan Reddick out of here though, because I come from a generation where I was raised by a man's word is his word. And you come in here, and all we asked you to do was just come in the building and just show us something. Show us something. Because the Jets have been fooled too many times to give players contracts and then they disappear. I mean, look at Greg DeLay. We ain't seen him since he got the contract.
Hey, Santucci. Now that's where I kind of disagree with you, and I'm with Jones on that one. Number one, we need him. Number two, we don't know the specifics as far as who told anybody what. And he was in the building for the press conference, so they had all the opportunity right then and there to get the deal. So
Hey,
I wouldn't say I want him out. I know we need
if we
him.
want,
But
if we
don't you
were,
don't you want to see him touch the field first and see what he looked like? I mean, the Eagles got Bryce Huff, and look what happened
No,
there.
no, 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 no,
You know what I'm
now
saying?
see, now wait. Now that's the difference. Everywhere that Hassan Reddick has went, he has produced. Everywhere. Cardinals, Panthers, Eagles. The man has a resume. Why does he have to prove himself? I didn't ask to come to you. You traded for me.
That's true. That's true.
and
But
not
still,
to mention we're 2-4. If the roles were reversed and we were 4-2 or even 3-3, where we had room for error, we have no room for error anymore. Which means we need all the horses we can have on the field.
That's a
That's all.
fact.
Hassan Reddick isn't blowing that. He could have woke up out his bed and he's keeping contained on that last play. He's
I
not
respect.
leaving. He's not shuffling and then leaving both of his feet jumping in the air. He's not doing those. They did not do that to Will McDonald's side because they believe he's better. Clemens is shit, man.
I
They
respect.
did that on purpose. But
But
yeah,
It's
you're
a
right
great
though.
point, Jones.
hey,
It's a
but y'all
great
got to
point.
look at it. Quincy Williams, it's an APB out for him. I mean, Quentin Williams. Like our defensive tackles have been. I mean, I don't know where they've been this year. Like, what's going on? We ain't getting no pressure up front. I mean, the fact that Quentin Williams has not been existence, I think it's starting to expose other positions. So even if we got Reddick in here, it doesn't fit the fact that they're gonna blow right off our defensive tackles because it's too many times I see Javon Kinlaw getting blowed 3-5 yards off the ball. And I mean, but I get your point. I respect it. But I'm just saying, I want to see what you can do for me. It's what you have done for me lately that I want to see. Just play one game. Just play one game. And I'm pretty sure you'll get a contract. The Jets, we always pay our players. The reason why I don't want to lose Mike Williams because he's a 50-50 guy. We haven't really had a guy that you could just throw it up and go get it. And Mike Williams, he's done that. I mean, he just need to learn the routes. Okay. Aaron Rodgers said he ran the wrong route. I understand that. But all I'm saying is I know if we send him to another team, he's gonna show
Now,
out.
now, Santucci, let me ask you this question. You say that we've seen it from Mike Williams. He's played on one team. He's coming back from an injury, and you know that he could do it again. So with the Reddick, you've seen him do it with three different teams. He's not coming back off injury. Why do you need to see it from him, but not from Mike Williams?
No, I needed to see it from Mike Williams. I needed Mike Williams to play a game. I needed him to play a game for me to see what he could do. But I'm just saying, I just want to see Reddick touch the field one time in the green and white. Show me something. I don't care if you get 1 or 2 tackles. Just show me something. I know you're going to get your contract. That's all I'm saying. Just show me something. I don't want to blindly throw around millions and millions of dollars, get caught up in a contract that we can't get out of, and then we see the guy disappear. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying as a Jet, too many times we have seen players get a bag and then it's an APB out for him. That's
But
all I'm saying.
but Santucci, even if you believe that point that you made, don't you think that teams will respect him and that'll free up Will McDonald, Quinnen? Like teams have respect for him. So you
Yeah.
have to, when you go into the offensive room, you have to say, all right, we need to double team this guy on third down. We need to do so and so in this. They're not doing that. They're just having one-on-ones with guys on the outside. So
And to your point, I mean, let's take the fan cap off for a second, and let's think from the player's standpoint. He goes out there, he blows his knee. He's 30. This is gonna be his last bite at the apple. He blows his knee out. That's it for him. That's it.
That's true. That's true. I respect that.
Buckeye, just jump in.
Mine is quick. Mark Torres, I feel for you because as both baseball teams advance and the Knicks season about to commence, the sensitivity training class is very going to be necessary because I think there's going to be major dilution of talking about the Jets coming more and more as both teams get to the World Series and the Knicks embark on a championship run.
Say that shit loud,
Yeah.
Buck. Say it
I think
loud.
I think Mark stepped away. I'm not even going to say conveniently. He had to step away. So,
It's about to get nasty for Mark Torres. That's where I land the plane.
well, I mean, I'm definitely, guys, as this thing goes forward, like there'll be more ideas. You know, uh, I'll tell you what. I've been thinking this. I'm more tired today than yesterday. I was a zombie. I didn't sleep after that debacle. I'm so out of it. This team just takes so much out of me. It's crazy. And
If
I
you
don't.
need someone to co-host for the Knicks side, I see CB down in listener stage. He could be a co-host for the Knicks. I know he's a big fan.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
But there's no. Then we'd have to change it to Knicks World, and I don't
I
think
like it.
CB would. I don't think CB would do that.
Do it. Do it out of spite.
Nah, I can't do that to CB.
CB, I see you with your Ben Simmons jersey on. I see you, bro.
He's laughing now. It's on delay.
Ben Simmons. Oh, that's a nasty word.
I was
Where
just finna say that.
where did Ben Simmons go? I know he got traded, right?
With the
No, ain't
Nets.
nobody trading for
Wait,
Ben
they didn't
Simmons.
trade him?
They can't get rid of him.
Yeah, we traded him for Harden. He's on the
P
still.
teams like players that actually play the sport that they're getting paid to play. Like it's a very difficult contract to get rid of,
I'm
man. He doesn't
sorry, I
like to
was
play.
wrong. I thought they traded Ben
Ain't
Simmons.
there's
My bad.
nobody trading for a guy who's getting max contract and not
PD,
playing.
they can't trade Ben Simmons for Deshaun Watson. That's not happening, bro. They can't do it, man.
Man, don't y'all talk about Ben Simmons like that. My boy Ben Simmons about to average 15, 10, and 10. Don't y'all worry about Ben
Over
Simmons.
what?
Jarek,
4
wait,
games?
Yeah.
Jarek, are you a Nets fan?
Yes, sir.
Wow,
Oh
Bills
And
and
we
shit.
Nets.
and guess what? We about to
Hey
make a
Jay, you
comeback.
smarter than that,
We
Jay.
about
Jay,
to
you
make that
smarter than
comeback
that.
and we about to make that comeback and have a better season than the Knicks. How about that?
Yeah,
Oh wow,
Jared,
really?
it's
Yo,
too early in the morning to be on
hold
track,
on,
bro.
hold on. I will make this public air, Jarek. If that happens and the Nets have a better record than the Knicks this year, you could be a co-host for a month on
PD,
here.
stop. That's not
Oh
happening.
yeah.
That's not happening.
And
I
that means
respect it.
June or Mark will get mad at me. So I can guarantee
Yo,
you
no,
that ain't happening. Actually,
look,
you know what? I got to take that bet back. I can't, because if that happens, then Jets commute might fall
Here
apart.
comes the Celtics shit. Here comes the Celtics shit.
As
I'm
a
not
Celtics
fucking buying it.
here
representative,
we fucking
hey,
I
go,
ain't afraid
man.
of no
Jay
Celtics, but
Mick,
Who
proceed.
left the
you
door
smell
open,
that?
man?
I smell bitch in here, Jay Mick. I smell bitch in here.
Yeah, I
What
ain't
are we
afraid of no
talking about?
Celtics.
KP ain't
Yeah,
staying in no paint this
the
year.
big dogs is here. Hello?
Cat's at the perimeter now. KP, come on out.
It don't matter. It don't cat. Listen, they call him Cat for a reason. Okay.
We don't need him to
Yeah.
be the dog. We got 4 dogs on the court. We
Nah,
don't
we
need him
already
to do
gave him
that.
the nickname Bodega Cat. He's New York now.
Yeah. Bodega Cats are lazy. Good luck in the playoffs with that guy.
Did you see what Cat was wearing yesterday, Buckeye? He was already
Yes,
wearing New
sir.
York. He was wearing
Dipset.
what?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was Dipset. Yeah,
this
all day.
dude's he's already locked in. Who you kidding?
I
Man,
mean, he's from Jersey,
listen.
so
Y'all
like,
know deep down inside that Carl Anthony Towns, aka Mr. Cat, is a downgrade compared to my boy Dante. My boy Dante.
No,
What?
he's not a
You know
downgrade
he's a
to
Wait,
downgrade.
nah.
Dante.
wait,
No,
wait,
stop it,
Honestly,
man.
You
wait.
know
no.
that's a
Yo,
downgrade.
the combination of DiVincenzo and a locked in Randall, that Cat is a downgrade from those two
That was
guys.
the worst. That
It
was the
is.
worst possible trade you could ever imagine, man. Y'all just
No,
keep.
we, we,
But then
we,
again,
Y'all,
though, you got that. There
y'all
it
gonna
is.
miss
Tom
Dante.
Thibodeau.
Y'all gonna miss Dante for sure.
I
Y'all
already
gonna
do
miss
miss Dante,
Dante.
but Porzingis
Yeah,
is going
I
to have
agree.
to defend the perimeter now. That's
He
what's
can't. He
happening.
can't. He can't defend the paint.
Why,
Because you can't just we're going to eat on the perimeter now, man.
bro? We will put Tatum on Cat. I don't care about Cat. I promise you, I was more worried about Dante than I am about Cat. Like I think Cat's soft, like super soft.
Soft like ice cream.
They they were covering him with wing guys, and he was taking step back threes.
I'm
Come
taking
on,
copious notes right now.
that's
I'm
fine.
taking copious notes.
Softer than baby wipes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just
Whittle.
remember,
Whittle.
when the playoffs hit, you
Jared,
know
just so
what
you
we'll
know,
be.
this is less about the Celtics. He had to rescue because he knew the Nets. He's like, I feel bad, man. Let me get up there.
Oh, we about to have a better season than the Knicks.
No,
We're
no,
the
no.
best team in New York,
Even
and you
Whittle
know
would
it.
not agree
We're the
with
best
you
team
on
in New York,
that.
and you know it.
All right, guys, real quick. I'm going to bring up. We'll get back to Jets. Andy Vasquez, who covers the Jets, is in here now. I'm going to bring him up. If you have questions, regarding what's going on, send them in the chat in here, or we'll address them here. Right? If you could put your hand up, Andy. Good morning. How are you? It's been a busy week and a half, huh?
Yeah, it's not I slept a lot last night, so um that was good. Yesterday not so much. Or Monday night after the
Yeah,
game was
Andy. I will.
crazy.
Andy, I will tell you this because I was at the game. I was a zombie yesterday, and I'm more tired today. This team has just taken after that night. I'm just when I think I can't get more number, it just happens, Andy. It's just when is it going to end? Do you have any hope
Uh
covering
I,
them?
it's yeah, I mean, hope it's I mean, I still think a season's in front of them. I mean, I think it's an uphill climb when you're 2-4 and you have all these tough games coming up. But it's there. It's the problem is you can't throw away a bunch of games in an NFL season, and it really felt like the last 3 weeks they kind of threw these games away. I think they lost by what, like a combined 9 points. So 9 or 10 points in these 3 games, and it was all right there for them. And usually when you get to the end of an NFL season, if you've given away 1 or 2 games, it costs you when you're trying to make the playoffs. So I still think it's there. I still think they have the talent. I think Adams. At first, I was kind of like, I don't really get it because it doesn't solve some of the more glaring issues they have. But when you look at these last 3 games, if they have a guy like Devonte Adams, do they lose all 3? I don't think so, and I think you can make an argument they win all 3. Um, that would be my concern moving forward: is how much are these 3 games that they just kind of squandered going to hurt them at the end of the season? But yeah, I still think there's hope, and I don't think Rodgers is completely washed like some people are saying. I think he can get better as the season goes on. I don't think Brees Hall is going to play the way he did the first 5 weeks of the season. I think he's going to look a lot more like he did on Monday night. So yeah, I think there is hope, but there's also not a lot of margin for error. And if they don't make the playoffs this year, what happens? Because it seems like Woody's going to blow it all the way up if that happens. So it's kind of a whiplash. It's kind of all over the place. It's definitely, even for the Jets, it has been revved up real high in the chaos meter I'll say that for sure. This has
Well,
been an insane 10 days.
yeah, Andy. Well, wait, but to your point now about blowing it up, like, I mean, yeah, people are going to get fired, but I mean, aren't they all in now? And even next year now, it seems like to me, Rodgers is going to come back. I know they said they'll address the Adams thing after the season to adjust for next year, but don't you think with everything's written on the wall that these guys are going to make another run or try?
They're gonna have to try, but if they don't make the playoffs, is it gonna be ugly? You know what I mean? How ugly is it gonna be? Is Rodgers going to have played well enough to where they want him to come back? I mean, there's some questions there. I think it's what does it look like? How do they miss the playoffs with 9 wins? And yeah, maybe they come back. But then do you bring back Ulbrich? Do you bring back the general manager? It's it's a really weird because Woody's going to be super disappointed. I mean, he said this is the best team he's had in 25 years. He's making all these win now moves, so it's super unpredictable because of the owner. Um, and yeah, it feels like they kind of have to make the playoffs, and if they don't, what is it going to look like? I don't know. It's a very interesting time in this team's history and
Yep.
timeline.
Andy, before we go on, people listening, welcome to the space. We're streaming live on YouTube now as we speak. So, Andy, there may be a short of you on there with your permission, if you don't mind. But uh, keep up
Yeah,
the
no
great
problem.
work. Keep up the great work, Andy. And I can't thank you enough. You've come on here, several times, and we greatly appreciate your time here. So, thank you. As far as Andy, has the press conferences been a little bit better now? With is Ulbrich botching anything like Salah has, or what's the? I'm sorry,
He's
but what's the vibe here?
he's new. I mean, he's obviously working through everything that comes with being the forward facing guy. He's a personable guy. He's gonna be fine in that role. He'll make mistakes, but I don't think I don't think you'll see. And he's made mistakes before. I mean, with the Quinn and Williams thing a couple years ago, and it was a bad timed mistake because the defense was bad, and people thought he was criticizing his best player by saying he was sucking wind on the sideline or gasping for, for breath on the sideline. But I think he'll adjust in the role. I think he's going to be more straightforward and not talk himself into some of these circles. I think that really did hurt Salah with the whole cadence thing. That was an unforced error, and you can't just be wondering out loud in front of the media what's wrong with your team, why they're making these pre-snap penalties, and then accuse the media of creating a story. Um, that was not good. I thought Salah had done a better job this year with kind of keeping a handle on that, but I think that definitely contributed to his demise because it was kind of like an embarrassing storyline for the Jets, and it made it look like he wasn't on the same page with Rodgers. And I don't even think it was a huge issue, but it was not the right thing to say. And yeah, I think he'll avoid that kind of stuff. I think he's not going to be all weird with the injuries. He's gonna if he doesn't have anything to say, he's not going to say anything, which we saw yesterday when he said he didn't have updates on some of the guys who were hurt on Sunday, rather than just kind of push it ahead. So with
Good point.
saying we expect them to play or whatever. So yeah, I think he'll be better in a lot of ways with that stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know if he'll be as quotable or interesting,
Well, Andy, to that point, let me ask
which
you.
is my concern.
Yeah, you're really honest on here because I don't want to give you credit, but you actually called it the first time I had you back in when spaces were kind of new, that you didn't think Zach Wilson would be the starter the year later, and you were right about that, and credit to you for that. But do you think Salah should have been I thought Hackett, and still think Hackett is the main problem. I thought Downing did a good job, but I still think Hackett should have. Do you think Robert Sala should have got fired? Is my question.
Well, it's not a yes or no. I mean, you could have made a very strong argument at the end of last year they should have got fired. So I'm not saying he deserved to keep his job when I say that I didn't really think he deserved. If you're going to keep him for this year, firing him at 2-3 doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But also, you can't really defend his record. And I thought last year, in terms of being a leader, he lost a lot of ground and made some mistakes with the way he handled Zach Wilson, with the way he handled Rodgers' injury, with the excuses that were made, and it didn't feel at times like the team was the most important thing. Like winning was the most important thing. It felt like covering his ass was the most important thing. So I thought, with that happening, yeah, I thought like he didn't deserve to keep the job this going into this year. But at 2-3, it's kind of a weird timing. So it was surprising, very surprising, probably the most surprising news since I've been covering this team in 9 years. And I think there's an argument that it was too early in the context of this season, but there's not very many coaches who make it to a fourth year when they had the lack of success and some of the issues that he had with the media and kind of things blowing up as well last year. So it was a completely reasonable decision to fire him. I just didn't know about the time. If you're going into this year, yeah, fire Hackett, do make that change. But obviously, that's a loaded thing with the quarterback, and firing Saleh kind of gave the Jets the cover to make the move with Hackett as well without actually firing him.
Fair enough. June, you have anything for Andy?
Andy, thanks for joining us, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Real quick question: how likely do you think it is for the Jets to make a move for a defensive tackle?
Well, I have to kind of dig a little deeper right now into the cap situation to see what they have left. It's going to depend, first of all, how this Reddick thing plays out with the money, because they obviously added the Adams money. They added the if they re or find a deal with Reddick, that's going to be money, and I don't think there's going to be a ton of money left to make any sort of splash move. I mean, it's an issue. They can't stop the run consistently. It hurt them against the Broncos at a point in that game. It hurt them obviously on Monday night early in the game. Losing John Franklin Myers, and that again goes back to this Reddick thing, because that's why they traded him. What was a loss, but yeah, I think you know I don't see them making any more major moves just because of the cap situation.
Now,
It's tight.
now, with that being said, how likely do you think it is for Reddick to actually stay with us?
I think at this point, if I was guessing, I think it's going to happen, because they're giving him permission to seek a trade. I think it's unlikely that anybody's going to give the Jets what they need to trade him, which is at least matching the compensation, a conditional third-round pick that they got from the Eagles. So, at this point, it seems unlikely that any team's going to be willing to do that and pay Reddick. So I think they're letting him test the market, and that gets to the point where when he's done testing a market, and I think the reporting on that was there's a limited window here that they'll probably end tomorrow. When he's done testing the market, he doesn't really have any option. For his future value, he needs to play this year and try to show other teams that he still has it and that he can contribute to a team even after kind of everything that's happened. So, it's in his interest now to play if he wants to try to get a contract next year. Of course, it was always in his interest to play. This whole holdout hasn't made sense. And that's not to let the Jets off the hook either. They traded for a guy who wanted a new contract. That's the only reason he was available. And then it seems like they played hardball with the negotiations too. So Reddick just took the hardball to an unreasonable level, and it ended up kind of damaging him. But yeah, I don't think Drew Rosenhaus is going to sign a guy, represent a guy, if he's not going to do a deal, because the only way Drew Rosenhaus is going to get paid is if Reddick does a deal. And the longer Reddick sits out, the less money he's going to make in a deal. So, I mean, even missing another week, it's going to cost him almost $900,000. I just don't see that happening now that he has a new agent. I think he's going to probably get in quickly if they can't find a deal. I mean, maybe they can work out a deal with the Lions or something. But remember, the Jets have to give up a second-round pick if he's traded in the NFC. It's part of the trade terms and the compensation terms with the Eagles. So it feels like a trade is unlikely. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the facility by the end of the week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
Thanks, June. We'll go to Mark next, but Andy, I just looked at Over the Cap. I check Over the Cap. I mean, other people probably use Spot Track, but
That's what I use too, over the cap.
okay. So according to Over the Cap, now Adams is on here. They have $13 million. The Jets.
And that's without Reddick. So obviously,
Correct.
if they it's not going to be the full 14. I mean, whatever it is, they'll work the number where they have some cap space. They'll probably have like 5 or 6 million to play with. So yeah, I guess they could make an addition. I would imagine at this point it would have to be a trade, and I don't think it's out of the question. I just haven't come up with any names or dug deep on the defensive tackle situation to give you, um, a reasonable idea of who it could be. But that's something I'll look into in the next week.
Yeah, that's fine. Mark, go ahead.
Thanks, Pete. And thanks, Andy, for being here, for being gracious with your time, man. We appreciate you.
No problem.
Here's my question. I asked it earlier in the room. I'm curious your perspective. So, of 3 areas of concern for the Jets, like which area do you find the most concerning? O-line performance, the run defense, or the penalties?
It's between the O-line performance and the penalties. I'm going to say the O-line performance just because you have a quarterback who's turning 41 in December, and he's already banged up badly, admittedly so. So they're going to have to do a better job of protecting him if he's going to get through the season. And there are issues, and it doesn't seem to be getting better with Tyron Smith. Morgan Moses, anybody who watched that game the other night saw he was getting up really slow after every play. And you wonder if the clock is ticking there in terms of how long can he play like that, or is that going to? I mean, Sunday is going to be a key day on Morgan Moses, and really today with the injury report and all that. If he's on it, if he's practicing, whatever, is Morgan Moses getting stronger, or is it going to deteriorate with whatever he's dealing with his knee? Because clearly he was not doing well the other night. So I think, and then you saw Olu come in a tough spot and struggle out of position. I don't think that's like a red flag for the future, but it is an issue for this year and protecting the quarterback and keeping him upright, because obviously that's the most important thing is having Aaron Rodgers not only stay healthy but feel comfortable enough to throw. And the protection was better the other night, and the run game was better, but going forward, are they going to be able to kind of continue that as more and more tape gets out there on what Downing's trying to do this year? So, yeah, I would say the offensive line would be my biggest concern, but the penalties are a close second because that was bad. I mean, I think the Jets now have the most penalty yards in the NFL, close to 500. And a penalty, you can argue that Smith's penalty the other night was the difference in that game. I mean, it was, if the Jets would have scored 26 or 27 points with that touchdown. So um, I know a lot of fans were upset with the refs, and it was a very poorly officiated game, but I think it went both ways. I think still the Jets going into that game, we've seen them have a history of kind of making these bad penalties, and Ulbrich said yesterday it's a top priority to get it under control, and they really have to, because it did cost them again the other night.
Mark, are you good? Mark?
Yes, all good. Thank you, Andy.
All right.
Thanks,
Mike F., go ahead.
Good morning, guys. I just want to talk. Good, guys. I'm feeling a little better today. I was a little angry yesterday, but I apologize for that. But
don't worry. We're all angry.
I hear you, my man. I hear you. But I want to talk about the run defense. I know everybody. It's an old, topic, but with Kinlaw and Clemens on the other side, why can't we see more Leonard Taylor? I mean, I know we played a little bit Monday night, but when he's in there, I always see he's always getting, he's always pushing his guy forward. He's getting in the backfield. Kinlaw and Clemens. I mean, can we see a little more? McGregor or Gregor, the kid from Michigan? I mean, that's my concern with this team is when they get locked in on guys. I mean, I'm not saying bench them, but let's see a little more of you know, especially Leonard Taylor in the middle. He's a big body, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm a head coach or nothing, but it just frustrates me to see the same crap in there that's getting pushed back, and we're getting chewed up on the running attack on defense. I mean, I don't know how Andy feels about it.
I think it's a fair point. I mean, I think the bigger issue is that they kind of misevaluated heading into the season. You know how the defensive line would all come together, and that they were going to be able to move on from guys like obviously John Franklin Myers and replace the production and the impact with these younger guys because they've had some success in the past developing younger guys. I mean, my guess would be that the understanding of what they're trying to do for McGregor and Taylor isn't fully there. I mean, McGregor did get an opportunity early in the season, the first couple games, I think, and hasn't had a chance since. So I think Clemens was always a bit of a liability in terms of he's just not. Um, a starting caliber NFL player. He's a fine backup, and he was fine in that role last year. I mean, he struggled last year too, but you can live with it. I think that's kind of the bigger problem is that they don't have as many guys as they've had to rotate in the past. So I'm with you. I don't see any harm in giving those guys more opportunity because you're seeing the same mistakes, and I think that's one of the things we haven't asked Ulbrich yet. That's a fair question is are you considering lineup changes because of the penalties and because of the kind of the misses you've seen defensively in the run game? I will say though that they did get better as they have gotten better as the games go on, but it is puzzling and concerning that early in games they've really struggled against the run.
Thank you.
Mike,
Thanks.
thanks. Mike,
Thank you.
we're all angry and
I know.
Andy,
I
yeah,
hear the part.
and Mike, stay up here. Andy, what now I'm going to get into this. What concerned me, and as a fan perspective, I know you were there. I don't think the stadium was buzzing like it should have been. There were a lot of empty seats. I know the Mets and Yankees are playing, but what the Jets did with dynamic pricing and all this, they're pricing people out and trying to get the maximum amount of money. And to me, charging $150 to get people in the building because it's the opponent, the Bills, I just think it's a bad look, man. Can you comment on that? I don't know if you know that or not, but I know from the outside, I just think the Jets are trying to maximize their revenue, and I get it. It's a business, but I mean, what are they doing, man?
So I'm not familiar with this, but I'm guessing so. Like there's premium games, so like the Bills
Correct. Like
and
Andy,
they charge more.
let me just break it down for you a little bit more. So like the Halloween night game,
Hmm.
like for me, it says it's whatever. I pay a flat rate for the year, but it's $66 for people to get in the upper level that game. The Bills was 145, which is from the Jets. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder that explains why. I mean, why would any if you didn't have tickets to the game after week 3 and you watched week 4 and week 5, why would you buy tickets to that game at that price? I'm with you. I mean, it is a business. I mean, I asked Woody Johnson last year, how do you raise season ticket prices on fans? Or earlier this year in March at the owners meetings, how do you raise ticket prices on fans when you have the longest playoff drought in professional sports in America? I think, I mean, it is a business, and they have, especially on paper heading into this year, they had an exciting team, and they still will, especially now with getting Devontae Adams. You have some stars, and they're going to take advantage of the opportunity to make the most money out of it. But yeah, I mean, it sucks as a fan, especially as a Jets fan, because you haven't had success to make it worth it. I mean, I have a friend who flew into town to watch one. He tries to come to one game every year, and usually it's a road game, but this year it was a home game because uh, his friend from Minnesota didn't want to go to London, so they came to the home game, and it ended up being against the Broncos. and he was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore in terms of spending money and traveling. Like when you're getting rewarded with that kind of stuff, and again, it was, I mean, it was a good game, a competitive game on Monday night, but when most of the time you're leaving the building really really frustrated, it makes it worse. And I think there has been like a lack of awareness from the Jets on that front, like how frustrated their fans are, how frustrated uh, the buildup is, because it's just been it's not just that they're losing, but when their offense looks the way it has looked at times when you're losing, it's like soul crushing. Even for I'm not more emotionally invested if the Jets win or lose. That's not my job. My job is to find the most interesting things to write about and talk about the team, and get to the bottom of why things are happening. But even for me, like I would like to watch some good football, some a team move the ball. It gets really demoralizing to have to try to figure out the same thing every game. So I can't even imagine. Well, I can't imagine because I grew up a Lions fan, but the frustration for the fans having to pay money to sit there and watch it and sit in bad weather and deal with it. It's frustrating, and it sucks. And then you feel like the team is trying to get as much into your pocketbook as possible. So I think there's a blind spot there, and I don't think it's going to go away. It just is the way it is. It's a business, and especially with this owner, um, he seems to have kind of some blind spots with that kind of stuff, and as it relates to the fans, and yeah, I just don't think it's going to go away.
Andy, I will tell you this: if they send an invoice out in November again, they are going to lose a lot of people, man. I don't think they could do what they did last year, especially if they're hovering around 500 and they want money for next season already. It's a joke. I'm sorry. I'm one of the biggest Jet advocates on here. But when they need to get ripped, I'm going to rip them. And I shouldn't be talking about this. I should be talking about, the we have a game against the Steelers, but as a fan and as a season ticket holder, it's very frustrating, man.
Yeah,
If you can you please ask Woody that down the road? Like,
yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
want. I know it. I mean, I know this is recorded or whatever, but I know it's if I know you kind of work for the fans and write us stuff. If you could do that, I would really appreciate that.
yeah, I have. I mean, I don't know when they're going to put us in front of Woody again. It probably will be in March at the owners' meetings again. But if I'm in front of him, and it's something that can be asked about that, I don't have a problem asking him, because I think it's a fair question, and it's something. I mean, it's something the Jets should be paying attention to. They should be getting the pulse of what their fans are thinking, and what their fans are dealing with, and trying to make the fact that this has been a really rough stretch, and really the roughest stretch in the team's history. If you look at the last 14 years, um, they do need to be mindful of that, because it has. I mean, you've seen the interest wane, and I think rightfully so. I mean, I think fans are just exasperated and tired of kind of it's talk. They just want to see the results.
Mark, go ahead.
Thanks, Pete. So last week against the Bills, which I was told was must win, right? Or the Jets won't get Devontae, maybe they don't get Reddick and the rest of it, so they drop one to the Bills uh, by 3 in a mistake riddle performance. So now they sign Adams. The season's back on, apparently, right? And so now they're going to go and play the Steelers in their building, and it's likely going to be Russ, but who knows if that's gamesmanship, Andy. So I want your sense of that matchup. What do you think? Jets Steelers. What's one of your main storylines going in?
Well, I think it's a good matchup, because I don't think you have to worry about them scoring a ton of points. The Steelers have a good defense, and they have a great pass rusher in Watt. So it's dangerous because of the mistakes they've been making, and you can't have Watt running free at Rodgers, multiple times and expect it to end well. So there's gonna be something bad is gonna happen. So they've got to worry about. I think that's the most important thing to worry about. But I think, without I haven't had time to dig deep into this matchup yet, I will say I didn't think it was a must win. I mean, it would have been nice to win. I don't think the whole season's over because they lost against the Bills. I think it's getting risky. I mean, it's getting to the point where of you can't keep throwing away games. But I think it's still there in front of them, and they got to find a way to win. They really do have to find a way to win this game. It's not the end of the season if they win this game either, because if they win the next two, they'll be right back in it, one game under 500. And you're looking at them right now in the playoff race. They're one game out of the last playoff spot. So uh, this isn't a normal year where you have like three or four teams that are head and shoulders above above the rest. Even the Chiefs, who are undefeated, I think still aren't like this great. They don't look like a team headed for greatness. It looks like the league, especially in the AFC, there's a lot of parity, and I'm not sold on Buffalo either in terms of like running away with the division. So I think like especially with the Buffalo game, you got to give Ulbrich a little bit of time to kind of do his thing. I think this will be a better week to kind of judge where they're at. But I think they can win this game, and I think if they are going to be the team that I think they're going to be, they probably need to win this game. But you're not going to hear me say it's a must win because looking around, like looking at Aaron Rodgers' history of making late runs, they could very easily go on a hot streak and get back in it in November and December. But I think if they're going to be the team a real playoff contender, it probably has to start within these next 3 weeks. I mean, it definitely has to start within these next 3 weeks, and it's an important game, and they certainly have to look better no matter what than what they looked on Monday night, and show that the needle's pointing in the right direction. I think that's the most important thing. But I know it's going to piss off some people I'm not saying it's a must win or whatever, because I understand as a fan why you would feel it is, but I still think there's a possibility that they could get it together if they don't win this game. But I do think it's a big game, and more likely than not will be one of the ones you're looking back on at the end of the year if it goes well and if it doesn't go well.
Andy, a couple of quick ones for me, and then I'll get you going here. And thanks again,
Yep.
Andy. I believe, and I'm not saying it's the Jets, but I believe this year 9-8 is going to get somebody in the AFC. Do you agree with that?
Looking at the current landscape, yes, absolutely. It's just a weird year. There's not any team that has run away. So yeah, I think so. I think that shouldn't reduce the sense of urgency to get it together. But I do think that it's a weird year, and I think that also benefits the Jets if they make it in, because they do have talent, and they will be better then than they are now. So it's hard to see with some of these holes them making like a real deep playoff run at this point, but something could change. Some things could start to look better. Um, but yeah, I still have, I think, more than anything, the concern about the offensive line and what is that going to look like, 6 weeks from now. I think that's going to play a huge role in where the season goes for this team. But yeah, it's like just look at the division. Like I said, nobody is running away with the division. Uh, I don't see how anybody would be sold on the Bills after what they watched on Monday night and what you've seen the 2 weeks before that. So not just the wild card race, but I think there's it's not out of the question that 9 wins could get you the division. Although that's tougher for the Jets now after losing to the Bills. So um, I think it's going to be a very interesting run, and it would be a whole lot better for the Jets if they could find a way to go into Pittsburgh and win this week. I think, but yeah, I think it's going to be it's going to be a topic either way, even if they lose this week, because of what Rodgers has done in Green Bay with slow starts and pushing back for the playoffs. Even in his last year there, when he was far less than 100%, he got them in position to make the playoffs in his last game, and obviously they didn't. But um, yeah, I don't think like the season's over no matter what happens this weekend. And I know that may not be a popular take or a take that's agreed with, but I think it's true.
That's fair, Andy. Do you think? I know it's midweek now. Do you think the Jets will win this weekend?
I do, but I thought they were going to beat the Bills too. So, yeah, I do think they'll win. I think it's going to be an interesting game. But I think if they really do start Wilson, that he's going to make a mistake and it'll help the Jets. And the Jets, Wilson had a pretty good game against the Jets last year, but they were able to contain him reasonably. So I just don't see the Steelers running away with it. I see Rodgers now having three receivers that he clearly trusts because he clearly has built. You've seen his rapport with Garrett Wilson grow. We obviously know his rapport with Lazard, and I don't think it's going to be a large adjustment period with him and Adams because they have so many past reps and so they know each other's tendencies. I think he can contribute in a meaningful way right away on Sunday. So I'll say this: if Adams is on the field, I think they're going to win. Yeah,
Andy, I got a question for you,
sure.
real quick, real fast. What do you think about the officiating that happened Monday night?
It was terrible. I mean, overall, I thought it ruined the game. I thought it was a ref show. I'm not. I wrote about this yesterday. I'm not the person. I don't think in any case, and especially this game, like it cost the Jets the game because it was 11 penalties to 11 penalties. But I thought it ruined the flow of the game. I thought it was bad. Many of the calls didn't make sense, but I thought, and the Jets probably had maybe one or two more calls against them that didn't make sense in the Bills. But when you look at the biggest play of the game and the biggest penalty of the game, it was on Tyron Smith. It was unnecessary. It was away from the ball. But Allen was by him, and he did hold that guy. And it was it was a terrible penalty, and that's on nobody but him. And you could argue that maybe the ref shouldn't have called it, but he did hold him. You could argue it was away from the ball. They didn't need to throw the flag. Fair, but he did hold him. So, um, and to me, like the Jets are a team that has been highly penalized. So I think the ref it was terrible. It was probably it's the worst officiated game I can remember. It made it a slog and hard to watch, and it was a shame because it was a pretty good game between two competitive teams, and I think it could have been a lot better. And also the thing that was frustrating about that game is watching the refs like run in at the end of the play once the play was decided and throw a flag when the guy who was the ref who was right in front of the play didn't throw the flag. So yeah, it was really hard to watch, but I think any team or if you want to make excuses, it's an excuse. Like they still had so many opportunities to win that game. It's unbelievable that now you've got this kicking issue. Um, and if you didn't have this kicking issue, there's a chance the Jets are sitting here at what 4-3 instead of or whatever it is. I,
Four
I
and
I can't
two.
I can't do
Four
math,
and
but
two.
you
It's
know what
all
I'm
right.
saying. Yeah, I can't do math,
I
but
got
two
your
two more
back,
wins than they
Andy.
have now. So and maybe even three, maybe even three. That's the craziest thing about this whole thing is how close the Jets came to winning these last three games, despite all the issues they have. And I'm sure as a fan that makes it even more frustrating.
Yep. Andy, real quick, and then I'll get to Charles and last question. Do you
No problem.
notice like where Zerline misses? That's always a problem for both teams on that far side of the where the Jets come out. That it's a lot of people miss down there. I don't know if you noticed that, but that was a concern of mine going in. It was really windy there that night. And I know the wind calmed down a little bit, but that side where I thought Zerline missed the extra point too. I thought he missed it. I don't know how they called that good, but
And there was another extra point or field goal down there that looked like Bass
he
missed
missed
as
it.
well. But
Yep.
I will say the two biggest kicks he's missed this year was the other field goal, the second field goal coming back the other way, and then obviously coming back the other way in the final minute against the Broncos. I think it's just a tough stadium to kick in, but also, and I kind of get the 40, on a windy day missing from 43, fine, but the first miss from 32, you can't miss from 32. I don't care how windy it is or whatever, you just can't. And in the way Zerline is talking too, it's clearly like a confidence issue or something's going on. So that's interesting. And the Jets are publicly, I mean, they're backing him, and there's no indication they haven't brought in anybody And that's going to be interesting if they get into a situation on Sunday night where they need him to win the game, or if he misses a kick early. I mean, that is a actual, like, another concern that isn't gonna probably pop into the minds of people. Not sorry to do this to anybody, but it is a thing. I mean, it's gonna be a thing. I mean, they need him. If they kick field goals early in this game on Sunday, they need him to make them and have that confidence. But because yeah, that's a bad time for the Jets to have a kicking issue, and it's kind of funny. They didn't have a kicking issue at the end of 2022 when they were in these competitive games, and now here they are in these competitive games where they need it, and they don't have it. So it's it's uh it's definitely something to watch, and I don't think he can have another bad week and then move forward. I mean, I think there's an argument now that he's already made too many mistakes, too many costly mistakes, and you can make an argument for replacing him now. But I also understand the body of work has been better than uh, what we've seen, but it's definitely a risk going forward, and Ulrich is going to face a fair amount of criticism if it bites the Jets on Sunday.
Real quick, Charles and Benny.
Yeah, good morning, y'all. Good morning.
Good morning.
Be gone.
I hear a lot of Wilson and the offensive line and stuff like that, but we've watched the past 3 or 4 weeks no name running backs run down our throat, and not once have I heard about is Najee Harris hurt? Is he hurt?
No,
I don't know.
He had a good game last week, to be
Yeah.
honest.
So look. We know Tomlin, and Tomlin's a good coach. Buffalo kind of went away from the running game, even though we kind of started stopping it a little bit towards the end, but they still had over like 200 yards rushing. I expect Tomlin to come in and run the damn ball, and if again, I say it again, if we do not stop the run game, because you're not going after a no name running back now, because no name running back's been just running down our throat like they're looking like Barry Sanders and Davis back there. So now you have this big fast running back that's going to be running from north to south, and I think that's going to be the problem. And Tomlin is not going to pull up. He's going to keep running the ball. So that's what's going to cost us this game if we can't get this fixed. Because the way our defensive line is getting pushed around, and that's including our $25 million man, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous, and it's sad at this point because I could see if they were undersized, but they're not, and they're just getting manhandled. And I think that's what the problem. And now you have Davis in coverage, and I don't know if Chuck Clark was even any better, but Davis just looks like he doesn't know what's going on, leverage anything. So I just wanted to say that, but I haven't heard anyone talk about Najee Harris. I think he's going to be the problem. But go ahead, say it.
I think both of those points. The Ashton Davis point is good. He gave up a touchdown the other night. He has not improved in coverage. It's that this was a liability going into the season, and now it's we're gonna find out. And he's also been a liability in the run game as well, Davis. So um, that's a less than ideal situation. And I think what you're right. I mean, the Jets, we've seen them be okay against the run when they stay disciplined, when they stay to their assignments, when they're not over pursuing. And if they look like they did at the start of the 49ers game when they were out of whack and over pursuing, you're right. They're going to be in deep trouble, and Tomlin is not going to pull off the run, and he's going to make them pay. I still think they're going to have success running the ball, but I think it won't be ugly if they can stay on their assignments. And even on the last play of the Buffalo game the other night, I remember some people had some criticism of the play call defensively and whatever, but I think if Clemens maintains his discipline there and stays where he's supposed to instead of over pursuing early, he would have been in position to make a play and bring down Allen short of the first down marker. So that's the bigger issue than them being pushed around. they're being pushed around because they're making mistakes before that, and they're out of position. And are they going to be disciplined? Are they going to stay in their gaps? Are they going to make the right reads rather than run toward the ball when instinctually it feels like they should? I think that's going to determine a lot of this game. I do think one big help is if CJ Mosley can ramp it up after playing a limited role on Sunday. He's going to be better. That's a strength of his game in terms of being in the right place in the run game and getting guys in the right place, and that could help. But yeah, I think it's a major issue, both the safety and and stopping the run. And I think you're right about Tomlin. He's not going to pull off, and he's definitely going to do everything he can to exploit Ashton Davis.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, two really good points there.
Yep, thanks. Thanks for that question, Charles. Andy, go ahead. I mean, not Andy, Benny, and then Andy. We always say we're going to get you out of here, so I
I'm
expect
good.
you
I
now,
got I got I
Andy.
got a few minutes. No
Andy,
worries.
well, I was going to ask you, can you stay on till 1 o'clock today? I'm just kidding, man. I
Well,
can't even do that.
Ulbrich said they moved him back to 12:30, so I got a little time. But
Nah, we'll get you out of here soon, man. Benny, go
that,
ahead.
yeah.
What's going on, guys? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So yeah, quick question for you, Andy. Obviously you're there in person. Just for Life even mentioned it. It's like two players. I'm gonna ask your opinion on. And they're honestly at this point two of my least favorite players on this roster. One starts with Quentin Williams. I want to like being there. I'm tired of the double team excuse. Half the time he's not double teamed anymore. Does this seem? Because to me, it seems like there's almost like a lack of effort. Like certain plays, like I remember that in that year that he was so dominant. Like there was nobody that could block him, like, no matter double team, regardless of whatever. Now that he's getting that bag, it's just his effort seems to be low. He seems to be a little bit out of shape, and he's just not that dominant player anymore. And I just find it pretty ironic that now he got money and he got that contract, and ever since that he hasn't been performing to that level. What have you seen from him? And two, Michael Clemens. Again, I don't think Michael Clemens is an NFL football player at this point. Like I think JJ is dearly missed, especially in the run game, and even he's never gonna be a.
Is he? Is his service bad, Andy?
Yeah, I think he's breaking up a little, but I get the point. On Clemens, I don't think it's going to get any better because I think he is what he is, which is uh, a back kind of a backup level guy who's playing more snaps than he should have been. And I can't remember if I said it here or somewhere else, but yeah, I just think like the idea that they were billing him as a starting caliber edge rusher was it never checked out, and it hasn't checked out. And yeah, I think Quinnen. Look, I haven't been able to sit and watch all of his snaps. From the naked eye, he's not having the impact he had. I do think when you go from having a complement of edge rushers to really not having any edge rushers right now who win consistently, that's part of the issue where he's not having these opportunities to make pressure or create pressure from the middle anymore. I don't think it's a lack of effort. I don't think he's out of shape from everything I could tell from being around him in the locker room. Um, I but I he hasn't had the impact on games that he's had before. But I do think it's probably more related to, and Kinlaw has not been anything near what the Jets expected, and that was a huge misfire as of now in the offseason to invest. I think they spent $8 million on this guy.
Yep,
Who is
7.25
yeah
to be exact,
yeah
Andy.
a
But
guy who it was a gamble because he played at a high level early in his career, but never recaptured it after being a first round pick. And they thought they could unlock his potential, and that has not happened. And in fact, he was a big reason they lost the other night. So I think even if it doesn't look like it to the naked eye, that defenses are doing things to take Quinnen out of the game. And but yeah, I think there's also what you said can be true is like he's clearly taken a step back from being the dominant player he was 2 years ago. It was a real conversation before last season who was a better defensive tackle, Dexter Lawrence or Quinnen Williams, and right now it seems like Dexter Lawrence is a better. Again, I'm sorry, please, don't get mad at me. I know it's kind of a loaded topic, but I think it's become pretty clear this year that Lawrence is better. Now, is that because he's got a better defensive line around him? That's probably a factor, but he's also a bigger, stronger guy who can just move people. So yeah, I think Quinnen's game when he was at his best, he's got a couple edge rushers getting to the quarterback. When he was at his best, John Franklin Myers was playing really well, and Bryce Huff was playing his best football for the Jets. So I don't think that's a coincidence, and I think that's where the Jets another misfire was not having a replacement for John Franklin Myers here when the season started. And now, obviously, it's bad luck to lose Jermaine Johnson, but it puts them in a position where they don't have really anybody on the edge, and that's a lot easier for defenses to deal with. So I think it's a number of factors, um, eh, starting with Michael Clemens having to play a full starter load of snaps in this rotation, the same amount that all the other starters are playing, and that is not good or helpful. So yeah, I think there's something there. It hasn't been a great season for Quinnen so far, but I don't think it's from a lack of effort or because he's completely lost it. I just think that defenses are very, very focused on him, as they should be, because he's really the only guy on the defensive line right now who's capable of doing anything
Yep.
consistently.
Andy, just a rapid fire, yes or no, and I'll get you out of here. Will
Sure.
Hassan Reddick play for the Jets this year?
Yes.
Okay. Andy, thank you for your time. I'm sure, I'll be in touch. You can come on again at some point. Appreciate you, your honesty and your work, and keep it up, man. And thanks for talking to the fans. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Hang in there. Hopefully, it gets better and more fun. I believe me, I know you deserve it. So good luck, and yeah, hopefully you have me on in a few weeks and we're having a happier conversation.
Yep. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks,
Be
guys. Take
well.
care.
You
You
got
too.
it. All right, guys. Andy Vasquez. We can continue the combo. I'll stay open for a few more. Anybody
Hey,
want to chime in on that?
Edie, you know what's so funny? You know
What?
what's so funny about Clemens? If I watch that man walk on the field, I'd be like, God dang, that's a dog. But then once the whistle blown, that shit goes left so quick. He got the hardest walk in the NFL.
Yeah, Dion. I know
Yo,
Dion Dawkins probably hates him.
if looks can kill, he's the
And
perfect definition of if looks can kill because he can't play worth shit.
I
But if you,
promise you, June, he walk on there. I was watching him walk around the field. I was like, damn, boy, if I never
he
watched
chiseled.
if I
Yeah.
never watched a snap, not even the chisel, watch his walk. Oh, he walks like a dog, bro. Like he's just that guy. That's how he walks. He walks like he's that guy. And once the whistle's blown and the play starts, you see what he really is.
Hey,
But
Guys,
that's
we
what
have
that's
hey,
what I'm
Chief,
work.
Charles. Yo,
Yeah.
June. Talk to me, June. What up?
I told you that Ray is going to play. There's no way that he sit out. Why would you, if you're not happy about a situation, and all you gotta do is play for about 7 games or 6 games, and then it's over with? Why would you sit out and do the whole shit all over again? That just doesn't make sense. So he's
I
coming
get
back
it.
to play.
Yeah, but I just don't know if he's going to play for the Jets. Are they going to work out a trade? And now this little kicker in, if he gets traded, it's a second round pick. And shit, if the Jets get a fifth rounder back, I'm sorry, guys. That's just not good with Douglas. Everybody here?
Yeah, I wasn't when I was listening to you, and I think you said his name is Andy.
Yeah, I'm
When I
back.
was listening to you,
Yes.
listening to y'all talk, y'all wasn't talking about Najee too much. That's a monster in that backfield. And if we were
Yeah.
having trouble stopping no-name rookies, imagine what this 6'2", 230-pound back about to do to us.
Charles, I know. Charles, listen, you've been on fire this week and in general. I'm just shot from everything, man.
Me too,
They
Petey.
they better win. And I was the one that was caping saying, give me Aaron Rodgers at 60%. And I think Aaron Rodgers is, I mean, he was the best player on the Jets field. He was really good the other night, except for the interception. And we still can't win. It's
Petey,
just, it's,
Petey, you were right, Petey. 60% with last year's roster would have been okay. This
mhm.
roster has regressed, man. Our defensive line, which was our best position, has regressed. It's quinning. Players playing in starter roles. Sauce is somewhat not so much getting exposed, but you see his tackling ability is like a problem. The penalties, it's all of that in one. But if you put Aaron Rodgers on last season and put him on the roster for last season, we played well. It's too much. It's just too much, man. It's like I was almost to the point, Petey, when I was watching that game, man. I was so sad. I was like, I'm tired of this shit. I said I'm done with this team. And then I was like, I get to work. My buddy, I really deleted Twitter, Petey. I deleted Twitter, all that stuff. So I'm working on my extruder. And my guy that came from out of state to work on it, he said, man, I got Devontae Adams. A smile got on my face. I got a little happy, but I was walking around there depressed. My guys was like, man, what's wrong with you? I said, nothing, man, nothing.
Yeah, I can hear it in you, Charles. And Charles, I'm going to wrap up, guys. Mark, if you have any final thoughts, I don't know, but are you here, Mark? I mean, his spot may have gotten bugged. Let me bring Mark back up.
And it hurt me too, Petey. I had to go into the Buffalo Bills space and tell Whittle good game. I hurt my feelings. I was like, I took it like a man, but I, you know me, I was chiming on sweeping them, and I had to go in there, humble myself, and tell them good game, and that didn't rub me wrong. That didn't rub me right either. So I'm like,
yep.
it's like
Look, I had to do the same shit. Trust me, Charles. I feel you, bro.
June, I'm tired of it, man. June, I'm tired. I'm tired, man. I'm like,
Yo, Charles, I'm telling you, I was at the game the other night and
I
I
know,
actually
Petey.
again started. No, I'm not saying that to say, hey, look, I'm at a game, but I was questioning again, like, why do I keep doing this? But a
It's like
win
a
will
bad
solve that.
drug, Petey.
Yeah, the win will solve it. The
It's
win
not
will
even a
solve
good
it.
drug. It's not even a good drug where you get high for a little bit and be like, yeah, okay, this is why I do this. This is a bad drug. Like you're taking drugs that makes you feel miserable, and then you like, oh, I want some more. This is terrible. This is terrible, and it's weighing on me. And I'm like, if I want to be depressed in my life, damn it, this game shouldn't be the part of it that does it to me. That
Yeah,
shit depressed me, man. Like really,
You,
Petey.
yeah. Jarek,
you know
I
what?
gotta
This is
close. I gotta close in a minute. So, all
this
right.
is perfect. Because I forgot to do this. There's one person you need to blame for the Jets losing, man, and his name is
Who?
June.
I knew you were gonna do that, June.
Not Junebug.
Uh, what, what I
Hey,
what, when I was in Yas Space last time, and I asked June specifically who's gonna win the game, he picked the Jets. I'm gonna give you guys a quick stat. June for the most part, when he picks the Bills to lose, we lose.
well, you know what, Jay? You're gonna
We
win.
win.
You're gonna
When
win
we
big
pick the
time
Bills
this
to
week.
when he picks the Bills to lose, that's what I'm telling you, man. It's the jinx. When he did it, it's recorded to you, so y'all can go back and listen to it. I specifically said, "Oh yeah, the curse is over. He lifted the curse."
I take some fault in that because I kind of boosted him up to do it. I'm gonna take some fault in that, man. I boosted him up to do it, and he kind of he went a little too far in, and now we're here.
Well,
Hey, Jay,
speaking it in, I'm out.
Let's
Wait,
wrap up.
real quick. Who does the Bills play this week, Jared?
I can't answer that, man. I can't answer that because I know what you're gonna try to do, and it's not gonna work.
Who do they play? The
You
Titans?
Yes,
you
they
lifted up.
do.
You
Mm-hmm.
lifted up. Mm-mm. You lifted up the curse,
You guys, gonna win,
man.
boy. You guys
Orleans,
gonna win
right into
big. You
that
gonna
voodoo
win
shop.
real big.
Oh well,
All
damn
right,
it. See,
guys, I got to wrap up. All right, appreciate you guys. June, thank you. Mark, always a pleasure. Thank you, Mark. Buckeye, Reg, Viz, Charles, Money,
Damn, I
Russ.
came in late.
Yeah,
Shit.
you came in late. Locks, good to see you up here. Mike Davila, Kenny's in here.
We've been looking for
G
you,
Mix,
Reg.
Bro, brother,
Lawrence,
been a little busy,
Chris.
man.
Yeah,
Super,
yeah, I
super
know.
busy.
I know. It always seems to fit. It's perfect how when you're busy, when you're losing. But all right, don't even worry about it.
And
Go ahead, Petey. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Petey.
takes
Reg
one to
been
know one, right? Takes one to
No,
know one.
I'm always here every
yeah,
day.
we don't
We
hide,
here
Reg.
every day.
All right,
Every day we
Reg.
here, Reg. That
We'll see you in the
bullshit. You know.
morning tomorrow. Have a great day,
Why you
guys.
calling me out like that, June?
I'm sorry, Reg, but
Why you calling
I've
me
been
out like
asking
that?
for you. I've been asking for you every day in the space.
June,
I've been
I
a little
gotta
busy,
run.
dog. What
See
you
you
want me to
guys.
do? All right, y'all
All
boys.
right,
Hey,
Petey.
Reg, see you. Bye, June.
Leave it, Pete.
Yep.